Hey, what's up, guys? Tim Uchuk here, and I wanted to tee up what is going to be a bit of a different episode. We're going to mix it up, and we recently hopped on and did an interview with one of our clients, Garrett, who has, over the past year, started and launched a franchise called the Rolling Monkey, and there's a story there, which he gets into and describes the meaning behind the name Rolling Monkey in their ice cream franchise. And specifically in this interview, our team member Hunter and Garrett get into how he's been able to transform his culture, how he's been able to get his franchise scale ready, what that's looked like, what life was like before joining our Perfect Week program. Garrett is a fellow lean thinker. He comes from a lean background. He worked previously with Mitsubishi. So they talk about some of the important, timeless lean principles, which are really applicable to any industry, because it's really about streamlining and eliminating the waste within your business. And waste, for context, is a lot like opening up a window in the wintertime and letting out all that heat. There is waste throughout all of our businesses, and the name of the game is to eliminate it. So we talk a little bit about that. We talk about the importance of culture. Culture eats strategy for breakfast, remember? And with that, I hope you enjoy this episode. We're going to get into it here, and hope you find some value from it. And I hope to talk to you all soon.
Hey everybody, Hunter Otis here with Tim Uchuk and the Perfect Week Method. I'm happy to have actually Garrett Clark here on the call with me today. How you doing, Garrett?
Good, Hunter. How are you?
Really good, and really excited to chat with you. So Garrett and his wife, Megan, actually jumped in about 9 months ago into the course. And Garrett and I were just talking before hitting record, and I asked him, I said, when did you jump in? I couldn't even remember. Like, I can't believe it's been 9 months already.
Yeah, 6 months at most is what I was thinking.
Yeah, that's what you said. And I'm like, I got to check and make sure. But it's been about 9 months. Garrett, when we first spoke, it was really actually refreshing chatting with you, because Garrett's done many things up until this point, but right now they have an ice cream shop called the Rolling Monkey. But he's done his research on a lot of this stuff. So the principles that we're talking about here were not new to Garrett principle wise, right?
Right.
So it was very exciting to be able to get engaged with you, because it's like, all right, you understand the principles, you know what we're talking about, you know what we're doing, well, let's get to it, right?
Yeah.
Get to work and let's get some stuff done. So it has been awesome to watch your progress and just your engagement, being willing to do the work. And also seeing the way that you interact with your team and all of that. So I'm excited to kind of pull back the curtain a little bit and give the audience a view into what you're doing, and the opportunity for you to share your experience. Really appreciate you hopping on. So thank you for that.
Sure. Glad to be on.
Why don't you jump in? Just tell us a bit about yourself, you and your wife, your family. Like I say, so we can get a view of the human, So this, we're talking to real people here that have families, that are running businesses, that are stressed and all of that. So give them a little picture about you and your family, and then what do you do, and maybe the size of your operation, and we'll go from there.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So I'm Garrett, and I come from engineering background. So I studied civil engineering, but I never applied civil. I went right into manufacturing as a lean engineer, basically. Value stream mapping and applying all of the different lean toolkit items at Mitsubishi Hitachi Power Systems, manufacturing large gas frame turbines, and was just responsible for leading Kaizen events with different teams and facilitating those, and just overall improvements and problem solving there. And then I transitioned from there to work for JTech, which is like a subsidiary of Toyota, to where I further kind of jumped into lean even deeper, being so close to Toyota, really more around like 8-step problem solving and things like that, which really kind of set me up to understand these principles that I'm now leveraging deeply with Tim's system. My wife was a special education teacher, so she taught for 4 years before making the jump, the big leap of faith off into owning our own business, and working to try to develop this prototype and scale it. That's kind of the ambition with it, is not just an ice cream shop, but an ice cream shop that's really doing a little bit more than just kind of the normal perception. And we have our son Connor. He's kind of the name behind the ice cream shop, the Rolling Monkey. So I've always called him Monkey Man, just goofing off. That was a nickname that I had for him. And it translated into a unique name that we were looking for. Initially, it was Cold Rolled Creamery, which was his initials, CRC. How we thought that was kind of bland. So we went back to the drawing board and wanted to do something a little bit different. It's an ice cream shop after all. So we came up with the Rolling Monkey. It's just rolled ice cream, kind of a we call it hibachi style ice cream, more of an artisan flair.
Right.
So that's where the name comes from. Really what led us into entrepreneurship was, I guess, this kind of calling to do more. Really searching for the fulfillment element. For me, it was wanting to maybe own the value stream from top to bottom and kind of implement some ideas and theories I had to where, with a larger, more structured corporation, things move a little bit slower. Rightfully so, right? Things are sustainable, and you don't want to change too much too quick. But I'm kind of a fast-paced guy. So that was one of the reasons that we did it. But really, it was wanting to find something that we could spend our time converging towards together. So it really became this venture of doing something that we loved, that would serve people, the community in a way, and that we could be good at and then get compensated for. Were kind of the four main things that we were looking for when building this business. And it's been the most challenging thing that we've both ever done, but it's been the most rewarding at the same time. So, that's a little bit about the business and us. And
yeah, how many employees do you have? And you're in Georgia, correct?
Yeah, and basically on the outskirts. Well, we're between we're in Statesboro, Georgia, which is a college community, but we're probably an hour away from Savannah. So most people that may not be familiar with Statesboro will know where that's at. We're west of Savannah. Right now we're at around 25 employees. It is the majority of those being part-time, being it is an ice cream shop. And most of our employees are college students. But we do have some salary individuals, our assistant store manager and our project specialist, who was basically our first intern that then kind of proved herself out and is now with us. And we now, this semester, we have 150 internship hours that we're managing, which is kind of a big undertaking. But with our model, we're really focused on basically putting the right people on the right seat of the bus, so to speak, that we're on that Jim Collins kind of framework, really trying to understand, okay, what are people's passions, purpose, where are they going? And then how can we leverage our platform to put them on that seat? So we've really tapped into the university here, and we've got 10 interns this semester, in addition to the roughly 25 employees that we have, for this shop. But like I said, it's right now it's just the one location, but we're in parallel building franchise development, headquarters, whatever you may call it, to support the growth.
Yeah, it's great. And I like something, and we were chatting about this before too, is just the focus on the culture and the environment. And when you're taking on that responsibility of bringing on interns and all of that, it's like, obviously you guys are invested in building people, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you're selling ice cream, yes, but you're building people. And so that's something that I think we're going to see kind of a theme come out here as we carry forward. But it's very cool what you're doing and how you're operating with your team, just reinvesting in people. But why don't you give me a picture of what things were like then beforehand? So May of last year, May of 2020 is when you jumped on board with us. What were things like before? What were the challenges? Why reach out to us?
Really, it was, me coming from a space of standards, working for 2 Fortune 500 companies, to where I would say spoiled, in a very sustainable environments, and having kind of a certain level of operation that I was used to, and then building it from the ground up. There was a tremendous amount of unknown, uncertainty, chaos. And while we were very intentional with kind of the principles moving forward, and I've managed big projects before, quite honestly, I was naive in my undertaking. So, we were very in tune with vision and core values and all of those things. But as the focus shifted to required elements, it then started to get like, okay, where's my orientation?
Right.
There was so much necessary, I guess, columns that I'm attempting to juggle to keep things supported. With me kind of being a pretty ambitious individual, biting off more than I could chew, trying to get back to that standard of operation that I was accommodated or used to. It was basically me striving to get to that place of operational excellence, and me not have ever having to build from the ground up. Before I was able to have a dedicated teams, a lot more narrow focus, and not have to be so attuned to all of the other potential chaos that a big umbrella company would manage
right.
and protect you from.
Yes.
So I knew what I was striving for, but I was struggling to get there within the time frame that I had, basically trying to build an HQ with one location.
Right.
Cash flow wasn't going to give us that time.
Right.
So it was like, okay, I got to figure this thing out if I want to do it in the way that I'm planning to do it.
Yep.
And then so I don't know how I came across it. I don't know if it was I want to say it was another engineer that a previous engineer I'd worked with at Mitsubishi had maybe said the name before. I don't know if I come across it online or what. And then someone said, hey, I had seen that. I'd looked into that. And then so I looked into it further. And as I'm looking, I'm like, holy smokes, like out of all of the different, let's say, business support supplements, elements out there, the different programs people offer, no one, from what I had seen from my limited perspective, was saying, we're going to bring you to this point. And that's the point that I'm moving towards, right? That operational excellence is the lean methodologies, what I know works for the best companies out there. And I was like, this is the bee's knees. This is the real deal. So I was like, man, while yes, I was a lean engineer, I know these principles, I've implemented these things, but I've got too much going on, and I may be 90% there, but as Tim would say, it's the half-built bridge, right? Like there's no traffic getting across because we're 6 feet away from connecting the dots to get something across.
Yep.
And so I don't care how much I know, if I can't connect the dot to get the traffic across, to what avail? It's in vain. So I was like, I need someone to get me to that next level. And then speaking with you, it was like, I'm very like, okay, look, I know this stuff. Am I going to get in here, and is it going to be a lot of this same stuff that I know? And then it's like, okay,
yep,
great. I was given the same thing that I knew, and basically you conveyed to me, okay, Garrett, thanks for sharing your current state. It sounds like, yes, we can most certainly add value. And I like I said, cash flow was tight, but I took that I guess leap of faith, with putting that investment out there, and undoubtedly one of the best decisions that we've made. And really, I've learned a tremendous amount, but more so it's my team, because they hear a lot coming from me, but I think it is more effective coming from let's say, a proven expert coming from this authority figure, coming from this proven program. So when we roll this out and the team goes through the modules, the lessons, they really put a lot of faith in that, and it really helps me to get them to that kind of that lean perspective, and that has been a game changer. So it's really helped everyone tune in to like, what are we moving towards?
Right, which is obviously massive. Right, you start hitting that, and things start to change real quick. But you hit on something really important, I think, and this, a lot of people can probably relate to this that have come from like a corporate environment or from a bigger company where they've got the systems built out, they've got the tech, the software, the technology, they've got everything, and that didn't happen overnight, right? So for them, they've invested millions and millions of dollars into this stuff and all the testing and everything to get it perfectly dialed in. And a lot of times we think, oh, well, okay, I see how well it works here. I can do this on my own. And we have the capacity, right? But taking that and applying it, what our experience was in such a large company and applying it in a small business, like, and with what you said, where everything is on your shoulders, that is a totally different ballgame, right? And so then that's a big challenge. I've got people that, they were huge in HR and leading teams of hundreds of people in a corporate environment. And then they've got a team of 10 and they're like, I can't figure this out. What the heck is going on? Like, what's wrong with me? And it's like, no, there's nothing wrong with you. It's that company did a great job of building an awesome structure around you. And you probably partnered with them and helping them put into place as well, but you didn't do it on your own. And now you're having to create it from scratch and in a different environment and oftentimes a different type of business or whatever. And it's a challenge. It's a real challenge. And not having that support makes it that much more difficult. So like you're saying, like having somebody that can just kind of help you get to, even if you're 90% there, even if you're 98% there, that last 2% like is what makes everything sing. So then,
sure.
So get into that a little bit more then. So just kind of the results. So what's been the outcome? It's been 9 months. What are the biggest game changers that you've seen just take place? And you can just feel free to just go for it. And then maybe we'll expand on a few more things.
So a couple things just right off the rip. So it's the thinking, like the lean eyes, having the team tune in and, okay, when I talk about these things, often I can say, Tim said so. So it's not just me. Tim said so. So therefore it's law. It's kind of the mindset shift, but because, we've got a taste of when we started implementing details out of week 1, there was a big value that the teams really saw there, because the way it's structured, it grabbing low hanging fruit, really putting things into place that we immediately saw results. Mm-hmm. And then so the faith element was there, the trust was there. Mm-hmm. So then I could start referencing back to, hey, this works. So that was a big component, is being able to reference back to that, and then continuously being able to emphasize the lean methodologies, moving slow to move fast. Yeah. Right? Everybody just wanted to move, but people didn't want to slow down and look at it from a different perspective, and really take the time to understand, okay, what are we really solving for here? And everybody just wanted to kind of do this traditional rocking horse movement. We feel good because we're doing something, but are we going anywhere?
Right.
So that was big. Another very big element was kind of touching back to regaining focus on mission, vision, core values. So like I said, initially we started out extremely strong on that, because that's what really allowed us to move away. We were a very purpose-centric business, and we really come from purpose. Like that's our top core value is clarity of purpose per individual, whatever that may be. But then getting consumed in all of the other elements, kind of become disconnected from that. Even though I had a mechanism in place, let's say every Sunday, I had a reminder on my calendar that says, rate yourself and evaluate to core values, to where I had a click the calendar and I'd have basically green yellow, red, just kind of color-coded visual that lets me know where I'm at relative. So I'm continuously checking myself and scoring myself. So I implemented the mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't become ungrounded, yet I had become ungrounded, even with what I would think is a damn good mechanism in there.
Right.
But then as we got through one of the weeks throughout the module, we had to revisit that. And I further honed in and regained a clarity that I had lost through the chaos of the startup, which most people have no idea until you go through one.
Yeah.
What it can do to the human psyche, because you're running 7 days a week, 17 hours at times, and quickly having to set in guardrails and such. And I think that's another big element is not hot lapping the car. Right, not taking it out there on the track and running 9K RPM for 500 laps. Really putting in guardrails that helps us to pull into the pit, put 4 tires on, and come back out.
Right.
To where we're gonna actually win the race or finish the race is another big element. But there's a lot of value in it, and also for me, probably the structure is going through a sequence structure of implementing the lean methodologies in addition to the other components that lean often incorporates the cultural aspect, which is such a beautiful part, which this program is not only about effectiveness, efficiency, but it goes deeper than that. And to me, that fulfillment element, that purpose element, the core value, all of those are the foundation which allows you to build the business. So if those elements aren't there, then spend all your time working on the business. But as the leader of that business, it's not going to go anywhere because you're not showing up. So the structure, the sequence, the material covered in it, I mean, it's just necessary stuff. And I speak with the fellow that I initially talked to, and I think we conversed about the program initially. I'm now speaking to him saying, dude, wait until you get your hands on this program, because it's going to take you to the next level. It really is, because he's now doing the same thing, basically kind of working his way out of the corporate space and doing the entrepreneurial kind of hustle. So I'm like, I can't explain it all to you, right? Because there's a lot to digest. But just trust me that once you get into the program, it's going to be structured in a way that has you focused on the right things at the right time, and move at whatever pace is necessary for you, which is another thing that I like. I mean, I've been in programs where there are the elements of okay, here it is. It's a 6-week program, and we're going to have to boom, 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 and everyone's in doing that. I love that this program is an at your own pace program, because I feel like if I was forced to do this at that rate, I wouldn't be able to do it as thorough, have the quality there, which to me is very important.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, there's a ton that I could speak to, but I think those are kind of the biggest things for me.
Yeah. Speak to your team then a little bit. So how have they received this? You spoke a little bit about it already, but how have they received it? How has it changed morale? How has it changed their fulfillment and their levels of productivity, and how they're really, interconnected as an integral part of your team?
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing is gaining clarity on unique abilities, is taking a look at all of our, let's say, $10 an hour tasks to $1,000 an hour tasks. Basically, these are the things that I really don't care doing. These are the things that are okay doing. These are the things that I love to do. And us going through that sequence and getting extreme clarity on, this is my unique ability. This is where I add the most value and I have the best time doing it. And individually going through and following the program to help us really dial in and get to follow that methodical, structured way that gets us that result and that clarity. And then putting that out there as something we're moving towards. So everyone on the team is aware that, oh my gosh, I'm moving towards the best job that I can ever have. Mm. So you no longer have to worry about, like, is somebody going to go over here or go over there? No, because we're helping them move towards a very, very fulfilling thing to where they're adding tremendous value. So they get that kind of that fulfillment of contributing, as well as doing that thing that they love. And we're now moving towards that in phases, to where we see the feedback of, okay, that measuring our progress against the climb to Everest, so to speak. Mm-hmm. And it's not just this ambiguous thing way out there. It's that incremental step that's measured all the way to it. Right. That's just one component that has really provided a tremendous value, that has really helped people understand where they're going. And wow, I mean, like what else can you ask for in a job? I could just leave it at that, but I'm now kind of thinking about other things. I mean, the guardrail element, just really going through and being intentional about not overloading ourselves, being realistic and putting in limiters that ensure that we don't run into burnout. I would say that's probably one of the biggest things is, right. I'm a very driven individual, and oftentimes I can hold very high standards that burn out my team. And so tuning back in and putting that trust and that faith into the program and saying, look, this is somebody who's more experienced than me, that has worked for Toyota, that comes from the best, from the literature that I've read, is saying slow down, and then being able to implement that and really following through. I was aware of that. I was aware that there needs to be recovery for very high performance, but I really didn't have a structure, template in a sense to apply that just made it simple. Because remember, I'm just over here taking care of all of these other things.
Got to do everything. Yeah.
Slow down, move slow to move fast. Well, I don't even have to move slow here. I can still move quick. I can still grab this template and plug it in, and then it addresses that. It closes that gap. And that was just, those two things are huge for the team.
When I think with people, because I think part of this too is sometimes people think like, oh, well, I don't only want to work X amount of hours a week. Like, what are my people going to think if they don't see my face in the shop, or, all this type of stuff. But the reality is, like, our people they really just need to know and feel that we have their best interest in mind. And that regardless of what we're doing on the back end, if they know and can feel confident in the fact that we are doing what we can to make their life better and provide a greater opportunity for them, like, they thrive. And then if we're giving them the tools, yes, part having expectations crystal clear so they know what's expected, right? But then having tools, training, and resources, right, for them to be empowered to do it. But then the measuring and reporting, I mean, that's where the rubber meets the road, right? Because like you're saying, like that Everest, okay, we have the quarterly goals, but let's break that down to the month, to the week, to the day, into those weekly, daily sprints, right? What are the definitions of done? What can we get done today? What do we have power over today to influence a serious outcome here as a team? And, that plugs them into the vision of the company, and it makes them feel like they're owners as well. Like, this is my business too. Mm-hmm. And I'm part of this, my role matters. And then it's that self-actualization piece, right? It's like, that's at the top of the pyramid. That's like where all the gold is, right, for our people. And measuring and reporting allows them to be able to do that, to clearly see, okay, this is how I become better. This is how I become something more than I currently am. And this is how we as a team do that too. And that's, what more could you ask for, right? Being a team member when you have that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it eliminates that ambiguity. Mm-hmm. And what I've found is the human mind, when uncertain, just goes to the default is just fear. Like it builds the boogeyman.
Yep.
So and often with how busy we are as entrepreneurs and business owners, we often don't have the time to provide that effective feedback to where that clarity is there. And then, we're not on the same page. And then that ambiguity is there on both ends. And then the worst case scenarios can manifest from that lack of clarity, and being on that same page and having that mechanism in the weekly cadence of this is where we should be on the trajectory of, okay, purpose, mission, vision is out here. And we also have the clarity of the day-to-day task that is connected straight to that. So we see the most efficient route to where we're going, and the way that the mechanism of this program is developed, it ensures that you're continuously on that path to where you want to be in the most effective, efficient manner, without being too rigid to where it breaks. The flexibility element is also built into that.
Right.
And it's just, that really has allowed us. Well, heck, we're a very small team, and we're managing a lot of individuals right now. A lot of inexperienced individuals. Like, how are we doing all of the necessary things with supporting a startup that still has a lot of growth within the prototype, within the shop, the initial, but also taking on the internship. Well, the framework has allowed me really to accommodate bringing on that many individuals, as well as, previously we were working with VAs and such. Well, this is a framework that allows us to optimize the VAs as well as the interns, because the purpose is there, the clarity is there, the key performance indicator of, are we legitimately, is all of this effort to build these programs out worth it? Yes, because we're moving the needle forward. I completely agree.
Was there a specific tool that blew your mind, or that you find yourself going back to and using all the time, that you want to talk about?
Yeah, one that most certainly blew my mind was the fulfillment tracker, because I'm once again very purpose driven, and I've developed a lot of tools throughout the past decade to really tune in. You talk about self-actualization, progressing up Maslow's hierarchy, and I was always very attuned and aware to things like that, and leveraging radar charts and things like that to get a holistic view, a well-rounded view of not just a niche focus, but what does the whole picture look like? So leveraging these different tools. But when I saw the fulfillment tracker, it encompassed wealth. It encompassed kind of spirit, gratitude element, spirituality. It encompassed the family relationship dynamics, all in a central dashboard that gave me a dial indicator where I can look and see the performance of me, the race car, right? Like, if I'm trying to run the track, am I running hot? Am I running at optimal temp? The dial indicator, the radar chart tied to my inputs that I'm putting in within each of these very important segments, to where I'm not only business focused, but I'm also paying attention to those relationships, and I'm also paying attention to my relationship with something bigger than me.
Right.
And I'm taking, and it's not a bunch of noise, and it's not a bunch of documents that I've got to go here, and get overwhelmed with. It's a very clean, concise piece that allows me to be intentional about the inputs, to ensure the data is there. It prompts with legitimate questions that ensure that the data that's going into this to give you that report out is clean, therefore accurate. And yeah, man. So that one, for me, I was just like, holy smokes, like, that document in itself is worth the program to me, because taking that and knowing what it's going to do for my life moving forward, for me to have that clarity and just be able to look at my dashboard and it give me a good indication that, okay, I need to go put more time here. I'm really struggling here. Yep. And these other areas, I'm in great shape, but I need to come here. And the other element, right? It was a dial indicator. It was the radar chart, but also the trend. How am I trending? that prompts me to then question, okay, I need to trend up, because my rating is falling off. So it's just, I guess, because I have always been so invested in self-performance, this is like the best self-performance tool that I've ever seen. And I've seen a lot. So that was big.
It's like the speed radar sign, right? Like on the side of the road. We talk about that, how this is why measuring and reporting is so important, because it influences our behavior tremendously. And, when you're driving down the road and you see the speed sign and speed limit's 60 and it's flashing at you because you're going 70, what do? You immediately slow down. You don't think about it. There's no thinking. You just immediately let off the gas or step on the brake. And you kind of have an SHIT moment, right? Like, oh crap, I'm speeding. But it immediately brings you into compliance with where you should be. And that's the power of having something visual to be able to just show you, hey, you're off right now. And it's not a shame on you. It's not a slap you across the face, beat you up, drag you through the mud kind of a thing. It's just, hey, this is where you want to be, and this is where you are. Oh, okay. And most of the time, we can simply just make a fine-tuned adjustment to get right back to where we need to be, because it's the small and simple things that make the big difference. It's just simply letting off the gas a little bit. That's not hard.
Yeah.
And so having that feedback loop come back and just show you where you are, that's the only way we can change, is to know the reality of where we currently stand. Yeah,
reality. That's what I love about it. It's just the reality check.
Mm-hmm.
And then it also conveys exactly where is that micro thing that you need to do to get it on track versus what do I do to get it right? Because before, I might have moved in this space or moved in this place to attempt to adjust to get on track.
Yes.
And those efforts may have been in vain. Versus this, it gives me, it's here. So I've only got to apply 2 micro units of effort to close that gap, as before I might have been applying 20 units of effort and maybe not even hit it.
Not in the right spot. Right. Exactly. Right. So to have it like, okay, here's all the different areas and here's where the problem is. Boom, you can get it in and fix it. It's like, oh yes, I need to take my foot off the gas pedal. Not I need to turn my lights on, or I need to fill up the gas tank or whatever, It's like, no, I need to slow the heck down.
Yep.
Right. And so to be able to have that clear data. Yeah. So you know exactly what to change when you need to change it. Yeah. Very cool. Well, so what, as far as interacting with Tim and all of that, like what's been your favorite part of how you engage with us and interact with us that's been game changing for you?
You and I talked about it briefly before. Tim seems to have this sense of calmness, of confidence there. Oftentimes I'm in a state of a lot of uncertainty, and there's a lot going on, right? There's a big problem here. There's a big problem here. And oftentimes those problems can outweigh my abilities to support it all. And then to touch base with an individual who is aware of all of the things I'm doing. It's aware, it's not a false sense of confidence, but it's a sense of confidence of, I know what you're facing, been there, done that. It's kind of the other, because you can have a calm voice speak to you, but they may not understand what you're facing. And therefore, how do you put trust in that? But with Tim, it's this ability to be able to ask the right questions and tune in to getting into kind of root cause of, okay, what's going on here? And then shifting awareness to the diamond in the rough, right? Okay, what do we need to focus on, right? There's a lot of stuff going on. How do we tune into that? How do we solve for that? And I mean, that in itself, it just, the recalibration in addition to the, I guess the confidence that is instilled through the calmness of, I don't know, it's just it's tough to articulate.
Yeah, it's
maybe you can take a stab at it.
Like the signal to noise ratio, right? Like we need the signal, we need the true, objective that we're needing to get honed in on. We need more clarity on that, and we need to get rid of all this junk that's just garbage, right? And that's working with Tim on this side of things. and we talked about this before hitting record as well, is that's been my experience. I mean, what you see as the client experience is exactly how he is in, on the back end with the team. It's just he has this uncanny ability of just staying totally calm and seeing through the things that don't matter and helping you get right to the thing that matters. And this has happened for me on such like a deep personal level with him now, being able to interact on this side so much with him as well. Like, it's been totally life-changing for me. Like, literally my whole life is transformed being on this team, which is why I will keep showing up and keep putting everything I've got into this, right? Helping other people in this way, because it's just done nothing but make my life better on this. So to see him interact with our clients that same way as well, like, it's so cool. But he just is able to see through, and I don't know if has to do with life experience and training, running his own businesses. I'm sure it's all of the above, but I think it's just also his character and personality. He just has this ability to, and people are going to think I'm a brown noser here, but it's just the dang truth. He cuts through that noise and helps you get to the one thing that matters most, and to forget about the rest and to let go of it. And that makes an immense difference on both sides. So yeah, very cool. So awesome. So then what would your wife say about all this? So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it was one of those things where there's been a time or two where, all right, here's a good idea, let's make this investment. And then there's been failures. This is not one of those. It was like, okay, good job, Garrett. Like, ask me to trust you. We put forth an investment and the payoff was there. So, she's got nothing but great things to say about the program. She sees the value that I spoke to earlier. And yeah, I mean, I think she would just, and she would also say that, it allowed me to have someone that I could communicate with, that I could operate with on the same frequency, which was very important. Me leaving a space and place where I had multiple individuals operating on that frequency, and then stepping out into a place on my own and not realizing what that would do. Mm-hmm. And then regaining that connection with a very, more than just a like-minded individual, someone on the same frequency, someone on the same wavelength.
Right.
Which is very important. So, if I got that connection. So yeah, I mean, so something along the lines of that is probably what she would say.
Sure. Yeah, I've done that too. Invested in something, like, hey, honey, guess what? Oh man, here we go again. Hope this thing works. And part of that has to happen. Like, you have to fail to get to the right thing. And you got to be willing to take a leap. And sometimes it is very much so the wrong choice, but you learn. But no, that is good to hear. That is the common feedback we get from spouses and employees alike. It's just like, finally, this is what we've been waiting for, Yeah. And that was my personal experience with it too. So very cool. Yeah. Then I guess for anyone that I guess might be on the fence, kind of with a bunch of question marks still, maybe they're considering this, or they're just really struggling, having a hard time. They're watching this just because they're in that space where they know something's got to change, but they don't know what the right path is yet. Like, what would your advice be to someone just kind of in that situation? Because there are a lot of coaching programs out there. There's a lot of people saying, yeah, we're going to transform you this and overcome that and whatever. I mean, so it is all over the place. So what would your advice be to someone in that situation?
So I'm going to take two approaches. I'm going to speak to the limbic system, which makes the decision, right? The why, and then the what, which for me, I think I make decisions based on the what, coming from an engineering background. Does it make sense? Put it on the scales. Return on investment, is it there? From a why element, I mean, you're doing something so big here. When you're talking about more than just business and money, you're talking about something deeper that I feel life is really about, this deeper stuff. And that stuff is in this program. And it's not some woo-woo stuff that's being pushed on you to follow some sort of direction. It's helping you tune into whatever it is that you need to work through and find yourself.
Mhm.
So that in itself is hopefully kind of appeals to the more emotional component. But from the more rational component, I would say look at the investment that we're looking at here. It may seem like a substantial number, but look at what revenue that you may bring in a year, and then multiply that out for how many ever years you're going to be working, and then compare that to the investment here. And then if we then take it linearly as maybe what that number would be doing over time, and we adjust that trajectory because of what the program has done, and we extrapolate both of those out over, let's just keep it short. Let's say I'm a 50-year-old and I'm going to work till 70, only 20 years. And then we measure out that gap of what value and improvement that it adjusted this trajectory. The investment's there. It's hands down there. So in my opinion, it's silly not to invest in this opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of, it's about what do we want, right? And don't get me wrong, we work with a lot of really sharp people, you being one of them, right? And do I have total confidence that you and many of our other clients could figure these things out over the course of time? Like, absolutely. Absolutely. The thing is, it's just opportunity costs, right? It's just, what's it going to cost to get there? Tim, it took 15 years of freaking failure, pain, and testing and iterating and improving to get it to where it's at, right? And that's why we share it with others to help just accelerate that process. And I think that's, and of course I'm in this seat on this side of it, so anyone could say this, but it's just about, let's accelerate that process. Let's mitigate let's get away from as much of that unnecessary pain as possible. So are you always going to have painful experiences in business and life? Yes, but let's have them be different experiences. Like these ones that have been figured out already, let's accelerate through that so that you can get to the next thing, right? The next level. And then also, being able to be home now with family and stuff like that, and not risking the next however many years of not being a present parent if you're a parent. And that was my situation. It's like, okay, my wife and kids are the ones paying the price for me being gone all the time in business, and attending to everybody else's needs, my clients' needs versus my own and my 4 girls, my wife being one of those girls, So there's just a lot of pain there that can be avoided. But yeah, so for you, you mentioned revenue, right? So how have you seen this impact revenue for your guys' business? If you're comfortable sharing numbers, feel free, but you don't have to.
Yeah. Well, the COVID dynamic has kind of thrown a wrench in that, to where, the trajectory was strong, and we've pivoted and done some things to where we're basically on track of where we were last year. But with the impact of COVID, we don't have some crazy revenue story, because quite honestly, it's been more of a shift on the development of what I'm calling HQ in order to support growth, and really in the last 9 months focusing on that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so I mean, revenue has definitely increased relative to the negative impacts of COVID,
Mm-hmm.
right? If this system would have not been there, and our focus is tuned in on these things that we're doing, I don't think we'd probably be with the revenue where we're at. However, I will say that we've moved very slow with this program to be very intentional to go deep on each particular module,
Mm-hmm.
and we've not yet gotten to the marketing element. So really, we haven't focused. Sales have not been a focus for me.
Yep.
It's all been about infrastructure. And if we were to kind of rush through and get to the marketing side and really put some horsepower behind marketing, I think we have the potential and capabilities to really get those numbers where we want them big.
Right.
But I'm being very intentional and moving really slow to ensure that the infrastructure can support it when the sales come, because I don't want to turn sales on just yet.
Well, it's the best way to shut yourself down is if we pour gasoline on the fire before we're ready to handle it. Before the fuel, if you pour gasoline and you light it, boom, it's gone. It's a flash, it's hot, it's powerful, then it's gone. And it oftentimes burns out, right? So we got to get those logs really burning and smoldering, before we start heaping it on top. But you've hit on a lot of things, like you're building HQ, right? So you're one location and you're building HQ. So what does that mean? What's the plan for the future? Why don't you go into that? What's the plan for the future? Where are you headed? And how do you feel you are on your trajectory towards doing that?
Yeah, so our vision is basically to open up inspiration stations throughout the Southeast and then hopefully the nation. And I call them inspiration stations because basically, like I say, it's more than an ice cream shop. With what we do, our mission is to inspire people who inspire the world. And so what we've done thus far with this location is basically inspire other businesses through the way that we focus and put culture first. And so we've received raving reviews and just all sorts of kind of abnormal positive response from the community. And it's had, Chick-fil-A and Starbucks, like district managers have come and we've spent time and they've kind of studied our operation because they are a very culture focused company. And to me, that was a huge testament to the work we've done. And I was conveying that to the team, like, guys, we've read books on these guys and they're coming and they're looking at something that we've done here. But we want to do that with every rolling monkey that we open up is put people first and their mission be to inspire the people that they're serving, to elevate them, to when they come through, whatever their mood is, to take it up a notch. And we do that through an amazing environment that helps bring them into the present. So that's one problem that we're solving, is bringing people out of the anxious, future-oriented self and the past worried self and bringing them into that state, kind of like Disneyland, Disney World. You cross that threshold, you come into this kind of over-the-top build-out of this ice cream shop, and it puts you in the present to where you then can more likely connect with the people, and the people, their primary role is to inspire, to elevate you. There's certain, we spend a lot of time on how we do that.
Yeah,
that is the mission, and then providing super premium ice cream, which actually is a thing. There's standard ice cream, premium ice cream, and super premium. Those are kind of the tiers of ice cream, but then delivering the best ice cream possible in addition to the people element, the environmental element. So that's kind of a picture of the model that we're bringing out there. But that model is the medium to really the methodology and the way that we operate business. And that's what we want to share with other businesses, because the problem that I saw working and studying other businesses was basically the untapped potential. In lean, this is one of the 8 ways is underutilized talent. Yep. And for me, that was my biggest focus, is understanding that our biggest asset is people. It is the culture. And therefore, for me, that was the 80-20. I wanted to hone in on that particular waste element. Mm-hmm. I know overproduction technically is the one you want to go after, but for me, I kind of was in tune to that. So I look around and I see every single day these businesses that are not tapping into that human potential. Mm-hmm. And it's a win-win. And I'm scratching my head and like, why are we not there yet? Why are we not putting people in a place where there is intrinsic motivation? Why are we not tapping into intrinsic motivation to where that person will show up for that company and perform better work and be happier while doing it?
Right.
And so with what we want to do is we want to be the example within the communities that we open up these businesses to hopefully have them adopt these different ways of operating business and partner with other businesses that are already doing this. This is nothing new.
Right.
But it's our vision to to have an impact on the world with the way that specifically retail businesses do business. And one of our milestones is to open a location in Disney, because we do feel that it is a very experiential kind of dynamic, and a lot of the core values kind of align with our core values. Their mission is to make people happy.
Yeah.
Our mission is to basically elevate people, make people happy. So we're lining up there, and we're both doing that through creating a world, an environment that allows them to escape the day-to-day reality of stresses, to step into a place to where they can connect with people. And there's a lot more to it than that, but
yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, if you open a store in Disney, I'll take the kids and take the family down for your grand opening, because that would be freaking awesome.
Yeah.
I'd be there for that. Yeah. Yeah, no, it would be a perfect environment, right? And that's the type of energy, because you're selling so much more than ice cream. You're selling an experience, right?
Right.
And that's why I keep going back to certain stores. Is, yes, obviously, if the food's really good, you're going to go back. But even if the food is subpar and the experience is phenomenal, you're going to be going back.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so much more. Like it changes your state of being. And it's cool because you're doing that for your customers, but you're doing that for your employees. Everybody's experiencing that, and we kind of talked about that. That's how the experience is here as well within this team too. And it makes you want to get up and get out of bed every morning,
For sure. Yeah, building leaders that build other leaders is another kind of phrase that we talk about, and it really is. Myself and leadership team really focus on building those leaders that serve the community. Mm-hmm. So our work is not so much directly to the customer. It's more investing in those that are serving directly the customer. So right. That's kind of our vision, mission there. Our specific standard work. So be it to invest heavily in them, so that they can invest heavily in our customer.
Right.
And really, yeah, it's just such a beautiful thing, because at the end of the day, I think we're all designed to give to one another. Honestly, as a collective, our society has become a very selfish society, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. And I think that has led us astray. And what I want to do with this business model is help retune people back to giving and to serving.
Yes.
And to seeing the beauty that comes from that. It's kind of counterintuitive to kind of the programming that we have. Mm-hmm. But when they show up and do it, it's like, whoa, I'm giving, which I would think would be taxing, but I now feel so energized and fulfilled. And yet I was giving to someone. I was serving someone in a genuine way. And to me, that's the thing that I want to change in business is we can't, and individuals have said, okay, for your hibachi style ice cream experience model, that can work, but it's not going to work for McDonald's. And I beg to differ.
Yeah.
I think we can have individuals that follow a very, detailed standard work at a certain level. The things that I'm talking about here and the things that Tim's talking about with the program can be implemented into these other business models. If there's people there, they can show up and really be happier and provide more value to the business. That's tapping into untapped potential is what I want to do. And I want that to be the way that every single business operates, because it's foolish, in my opinion, for that not to be the case. It's a win-win. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes it requires us to move slow to move fast, right? If we want to do it right, we got to slow down and make sure the pieces are in the right place. But it pays back dividends for sure. Garrett, it is just a pleasure being able to work with you and Megan, and to see, to get to see even just your simple Facebook posts of what you're doing with the team and the energy that's there. you can see it, you can feel it, it's in front of you. And just to see you guys and be able to be part of this process of you guys just really grabbing hold of the opportunity and just taking action on these things, laying that strong foundation has just been such a blessing and a gift. And just really excited for you and what you're doing, and what are things going to look like in a year? Because when you pump the brakes a bit and move slow to move fast, I mean, when it starts to move fast, you hit that exponential growth curve and stuff happens real quick. So we might have to circle back in a year, have another one of these to see what happens. But thanks for letting us be part of this. It's just been awesome so far. And I guess any final words of wisdom from you before we hang the hat?
I mean, just regarding the program, once again, it's a very beneficial thing. It's been a great thing. Extremely excited about it. I think everything I've conveyed this far really conveys that. Personally, I would just say, let purpose drive. Let purpose be. Move forward with the why. That's kind of just my personal advice to everyone out there is, tune into that deeper felt sense and listen to it and maybe take a risk to move forward on it. And I think it'll pay back big dividends. So that's what I got. It's been a pleasure being on this. I'm glad you invited me. I enjoy our conversations and look forward to touching base soon.
Yeah, much appreciated, man. Much love to you guys and what you're doing. And we're in your corner. And but I guess how do people if they want some premium ice cream and a premium experience, how do they find you?
Okay, yeah. So we're just search Rollin' Monkey ice cream, and Google should spit it out if SEO is doing what it should be doing. But you can find us at therollingmonkey.com. We're on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. If you want to kind of look into the team and some of the stuff that we're doing with the team on LinkedIn as well. We are in Statesboro, Georgia. If you're ever in the Southeast and you want to come through and you want to say, hey, I'm right here and I'm happy to show our team. I'm a very open door kind of guy, and happy to share, all of the works that we're doing. And, so is my team. I've got a beautiful team, and I couldn't do it without them. These guys and girls inspire me each and every day. And, it's been such a great thing to pool all of these brilliant, beautiful people together and work with them. And I'm excited to continue to grow the team and share this with everyone. So.
All right, man. Thanks so much for getting on the call and just for everything that you're doing. Seriously, blessings to you, and I'm sure we'll be talking soon.
Thanks, Hunter.
All righty. We'll talk to you later.
Take care, man.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, Tim Uchuk here, and real quick, if you enjoyed this podcast episode, if you could take a couple quick seconds to give it a rating, it would be very much appreciated. And secondly, if you're looking for more tools and strategies on how you can crush it in life and business, just head on over to bookwithtim.com, where I've put together a free case study which shows you how to unlock unprecedented freedom today by using the 2 power levers. Just head on over to bookwithtim.com. Until next time, wishing you success and freedom in your business. Cheers.